Hi, my name is Thea Criado and I'm a doctor by profession and a self-taught graphic designer. I've worked in 4 different countries in 3 different industries and have 31 months of work experience. My last organization was Dr. B. Nanavati Hospital, where I worked as a medical officer in the departments of cardiac surgery and telemedicine. I'd be surprised to know there are 7 doctors in our batch here at IIM Lucknow and 9 in the senior batch. Here at IIM Lucknow, I'm a part of the badminton and table tennis team, and I'll be interning at Deloitte India US Consulting. First, a few facts about IIM Lucknow. It's the biggest IIM across IIMs at 185 acres. We have the largest library, 2 floors of 30,000 square foot area, and a computer center at 15,000 square feet of area. For the techies, that's 1,300 nodes of fiber optic cable connection across the campus, and Wi-Fi access as well for certain hostels. But my favorite hangout is the sports center, Umang, with a full-size swimming pool, well-equipped gym, and a billiards table. Did you know that we have a national level billiards player here? No, I'm not trying to pitch IIM Lucknow to you, but that could very well be the first of your interview questions after, of course, the most hyped tell me about yourself would be, tell me about why you want to join IIM Lucknow. What do you know about Lucknow? What is your opinion on the political scenario of Uttar Pradesh? That's exactly how an interview goes. It flows naturally, like a conversation. In fact, if your interview feels like a conversation once you walk out, there's a good probability that you've actually done really well. Do's and don'ts before your interview. Do be prepared. Do get a hold of a bunch of commonly asked interview questions, at least 100. Take a whole day off to introspect on your entire life. Write down the answers to all those commonly asked questions. You may think that you're a great orator, but it really helps if you do write them down, because then not only can you practice in front of a mirror, but you can also practice in front of your family and friends, and they'll know what you're going to say beforehand, so they'll be able to judge you based on that. More importantly, you need to revise those answers before you walk into your interview, and that's where it's going to help. Take mock interview sessions, family, friends, or even professional institutions which arrange mock interview sessions. Practice. Practice, more practice. Be confident. Nothing says that you're confident like a smile. So smile when you get in there. Have a conversation with your interviewer. Shake hands, firmly, not too hard. Be prepared in terms of your clothing and what you're going to carry. Dress appropriately and make sure that you carry a file which is not going to allow all your papers to slip out on the floor. The last thing you want when you enter into the interview hall is for all your papers to be scattered around. Know what to carry. Finally, my own GDPI experience last year. So for the group discussion, it'll start with a WAT or written test, which will be the same topic as your group discussion. For me, it was, what are women to men? So again, the whole gender equation. And it just so happened in my GD panel, we were 9 of us, of which 6 were girls, which are incredible odds. And there were 2 doctors, that's another doctor in addition to me. And we both got selected for IIM Lucknow. So the group discussion, luckily, was not a fish market. One piece of advice, don't make it a fish market. Let each one have their time to speak. And what we did for our group discussion was, beforehand, we told each one that we would let each one speak. That does not mean that if someone's not speaking, you go and tell them, oh, please speak. Please don't. But at the same time, just make sure that you don't keep interrupting too much or screaming or shooing people away with your hands and so on and so forth. The interview for me was a 3-panel interview. It was a stress interview, yes. It started off with, tell me about yourself and so on. And before I could even complete one line, it went on into, but you're a doctor, so why do you want to do an MBA? Standard question. So that's something that you really need to introspect about. And I think coming from a medical background, that's something that's going to be very, very specific and unique to each one of us. In terms of how the interview went, after that it was just scenario after scenario. So one example would be that they asked me about antibiotics and dosage. They also asked about, okay, so you've been practicing in cardiac surgery. What topic of medicine do you really like that we can ask you about? So for me, my favorite subjects were forensic medicine and psychiatry, which I mentioned, and they gave me a scenario. The scenario was that you are a doctor at a conference of industry experts, and one of the scientists who has been invited to the conference at a five-star hotel is a very eminent scientist who has a twin brother who is a terrorist. And at the last minute, just before the conference is going to start, the panel finds out that the twin brother has arrived, that is the terrorist brother, and not the actual research scientist. So of course there's about to be mass hysteria, and what do you as a medical professional do in order to take control of the situation? So that actually is a test of your managerial abilities, your ability to lead and to influence others. And that was why I was asked the question. So in terms of answering it, it wasn't about what is a right answer and what's a wrong answer, more than your approach, but being calm, being able to exert your influence, take control of the situation, the safety regulations. But more importantly, another question that was asked of me was, what would you prescribe? Now, obviously, you're not going to randomly prescribe an anti-anxiety drug. And that was something that they wanted to test, to check whether you would just jump to the prescription pad or whether you were actually going to use your mental prowess to analyze the situation. And other than that, there were a few general knowledge questions. Since I have lived abroad, they did ask me a little bit about India and why I wanted to come back. What are the capitals of certain states? What is going on in the northeast of India, Naxal situation, and so on and so forth. So general knowledge questions will be fired at you if it is a stress interview, just to stress you out a little bit. But the key is that even if you don't know something, you should admit that you don't know and not try and give fake answers, number one. And number two, no one can know everything. So there's no reason to get panicky about it. Just be calm, be confident, know your CV inside out, and I'm sure that'll carry you through.